Hi everybody, welcome to another Freehand Friday and welcome to the Be Crafty YouTube channel if you've never been here before. Now, so today I'm going to be using just some paint and things like that. We're not, on our Freehand Fridays, we're not using our stamps or our templates, we're just doing, you know, some techniques with our mediums and what have you. Now, I could lie to you and say this is the first time I've done this, but it's not because, yeah, it didn't record the first time. So I have moved into one of my sketch pads and we're going to do it again. So please forgive me because my perfectly clean palette is now not, because like I say, it's the second time, and neither is my water. So you're just going to have to, you know, imagine this water is perfectly clean, because it's really not going to matter in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle. Okay, with our water. Now, in all honesty, this is where it having a little tint to it helps me because I can see where I'm going. Okay, and then using one of my other brushes. Now, in my palette, I've got some Dilutions acrylic paint, and then in the palette, well next to each colour was just some clean water. Okay, and the reason I've done that is so I can create sort of like a colour wash with each colour. So for example, I can add that, each colour, to where I've started my circle, and it will just wick itself into the next one. Okay, so I can then go into the green. Now, I won't lie to you, the blue has got a little bit muddy because I went from pink to blue last time. So do you know what? We're going to add a little bit more blue to that. And we're going to put that in there. And then, now this is just a sketch pad. So it's not a watercolour cardstock. It's just one I got from the range, I think. I'm going to add a little bit more green to that. Okay, so we can go in here. Now, with your Dilutions acrylic paint, because they're so movable with water, one of the many things I love about them, if it's not blending how you want, you can just go in with your mini mister and create a little bit more, and that will also help give you a lovely sort of wicking effect. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'm going to give that a quick waft with the heat tool. I'm going to try and do as much of this in real time as I can. Okay, now the reason I'm giving it a quick waft with the heat tool is, like I say, this is not a watercolouring cardstock, it's just a sketch pad. Okay, but sometimes I can think that can give you some really cool texture. I did do the first version in my journal. No, I won't show you. Okay, and then, oh, what I would give some clean water right now. Right, so we're going to take some yellow. There we go, and get that yellow going a bit more. How we want. Absolutely lovely. Okay, and then we're going to start mark making before it's perfectly dry, because we want some of the marks to be perfect and we want some of them to wick out. Okay, so you want to go into your white space, you know, you want to flick into that. You know, we're going to try and keep it as white space. Now, obviously, this would work really well on your black card, your craft card, and things like that. So if you do that, I would love to see. You can put it in the Be Crafty Stamps group or on Facebook, or you could send it to me via message. I would still love to see it if you don't want to show it to everybody. Okay, so we're just going to keep on adding on some different marks. I'm going to go for some circles. Haven't met a crafty yet that's against a circle. And, you know, sort of goes with the theme, doesn't it, really? But the thing is as well, if you do some marks and you're not such a fan of them, you think, I'd like them to move a bit more. Again, get your mister out. Make them travel. This is what I really want the Freehand Fridays to inspire you to free it up. just have some fun with your paints and inks. This would be a really great technique to do with your gloss sprays. They will also work in this way. If you put them in here wet, you can actually water them down. Your Dina Wakley gloss sprays. Obviously your Dilutions ink sprays too. You could use distress ink re-inkers. We will be doing some more with distress ink re-inkers at some point. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Well, that one's really good. See how it's got like a real splat on it. And yes, I do spend a lot of time saying, where did that paint come from? But that's okay. That really is okay. I like it. All right. Now, I am just going to heat set over here a little bit more. And I think I am going to use my painty towel to pick up that puddle. So I'm not sure that'll ever dry. Okay. So I'm going to move around here. Might as well give it all a little heat set. You know, I've got some other puddles, but that's okay. I think what I might do actually is grab some of my Be Crafty stamping tissue, because let's face it, this is a new layer for my journal in the making, ready to go. And then, now the beauty of this can work in lots of different ways. So for example, you can see how we've put this down. You could then add a main stamped image to it. You could just add, for example, one of our transparency prints to it if you wanted this. But if you want to continue along a sort of freehand theme, you can add to it in other ways, okay? So you can sketch on it as well. You could add in more floral elements for it. But what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to attempt to do, is add a vine around it. Now, I'm not entirely sure it's dry enough for that, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. So we're going to, I might need a finer brush. I'm just looking, this is more of a job for this. Okay. I'm just going to join that up in a couple of sections. This is what Bob Ross would have called a bravery test, isn't it? You know, when you've done something you like and then you've got to put a big line on it. I absolutely love Bob Ross. Okay. So I've decided, although I've done the framing grit, I'm actually going to step away from the green because I'm worried it's going to look a bit wreath-like if I do that. So I'm actually going to really loosen up this pink, and I'm going to do some petals around here. That one was a bit blobby. Okay, and again, if you wanted to water those out a little, make them a bit more watercolour-esque. Just spritz them, okay? We're going to go and we're going to add in some more of that yellow. So I'm just going to loosen the rest of that up. Give that a quick waft with the heat tool where I've spritzed. I'm trying to do this week's one mostly in real time. So if I do go a bit over, forgive me. It is with good reason, I promise. Okay. So then we're just going to add in our petals. And some of them will run where they hit the water, that's okay. So you can go a bit quicker this time around because you can see where you're going better. And we're going to go in with our blue. Actually, we're not going to do that. I'm going to use the end of this paintbrush here. We're going to add in some little random dots. Because if you go in freehand, use all the tools at your disposal. And the Freehand Fridays really are to show you that even if you've only got a few mediums or whatever, so for example, even if you'd only got yourself some black gesso and stuff to start with, you could almost do this in sort of like grey hues. That would look really cool. Absolutely love it. And bringing this blue back in, I think, is really cool. That's just funking that up slightly. Absolutely. And like I say, if you're not a stamper, you know, get one of the transparency print faces. Put one of those over the top. I think I've got one here to show you what I mean. I know this is just Freehand Friday. I did have my transparencies out the other day just to show you what I mean. Let's have a look. Ah, there we go. Just to show you what I mean. Something like that. In the middle of there. Easy peasy, in your art journal page would be done. Okay. I think I'm so tempted to do more, but I think I'm going to stop. Okay. So I keep trying to add handwritten words, and let's face it, my writing is just not as good as Sam's. I think I'm going to do one more thing though, and just, you know, just in time to regret it. I'm going to get some watercolour pencils. Okay. I'm going to go with sort of bluey colour because we've brought the blue back in, and I'm just going to sort of, from this vine, I'm going to add some little hand-drawn so I'm going to do rounded leaves on this one. Also, you could colour these in too. Then I'm actually thinking I might go for an orange to go up out of here. And that we're going to do a little loop. What have you? I'm actually going to add in orange. Oh, I've got a red. A red. Oh yeah. To go around here. Maybe just add in a bit more of a sketch edge. Where's the glue gone? And then these are watercolour pencils. So I can go over it with my wet paintbrush and just sort of soften them out a little and make them go in. Okay, but I'm going to do a little bit of there. Maybe some of Sam's Asemic writing. If you haven't watched that Freehand Friday, you should. Okay, so like I say, that's an art journal page that you could either add something to, you could add a decoupage to, you could add a stamped image to, or you could just leave it as it is. It's totally up to you. So have a go freehand with your paints, making your own background. But like I say, what we're trying to do is make you play with the mediums you have. So if you have distress refills, you have Dilutions ink sprays, you have Dean and Wakely gloss sprays, you have oxide sprays, things like that. You can all do the similar thing with this technique and just have fun. And we would love to see your mates in the Be Crafty Stamps group on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining me again, guys. Bye.